It's hard to believe it's already the end of July, but we're out here at a piece of property we acquired for deer and turkey hunting, and we're going to put in some work over the next couple days to kind of get it ready for hunting season. We're going to put up all the stands, 6, 7, 8 stands, primarily on the edges, and then we're going to put in a water hole, and we're also going to prep food plots. We're going to mow them down, spray them, and get them ready for planting probably towards the end of August. So we're going to get to work here, and we'll show you a few of our tips and tricks along the way. Well, we've got the water hole dug in. This is about a 150-gallon tank. There is a little dugout here next to it. It just hasn't been holding any water throughout the summer. So we opted for a more permanent tub, which will also collect rainwater, and we'll bring in water as needed. But one little tip when you're putting in these bigger water tanks is to get a branch with a weight on it. So about a 20-pound dumbbell. You just put that in your water tank, so that way if any smaller critters end up in your tank, they have a way to get out and they don't perish in there and taint your water. It's a good way to make sure that your water stays fresh for the deer and other wildlife that come through and need a drink. We're in the heart of our hunting property here, and I'm going to put out the cell cam in the middle here because we're not going to come into the middle of the property as often, so I want the pictures to be able to send to my cell phone without intruding and potentially spooking some of the nicer deer. So we've got a couple trails coming out of the woods here, cornfield right in front of us, and we put a licking branch right behind us. So we'll let this thing run the rest of the summer. Pictures will be sent right to the phone, and once hunting season rolls around, we'll have a good idea of the quality of bucks, when they're moving. If they're moving through this area, we can check the cameras on either end of the property to hopefully try to figure out some patterns here as we get into hunting season. Now, food plotting takes a lot of time on a four-wheeler or tractor, whatever you may have. Well, thankfully on this property, the food plot structure was there. We didn't have to remove any trees or dig out any stumps, but we have a four-wheeler, and we thought, what a great way to incorporate the entire family. We had my mom, dad, and my nephew up. You know, my nephew loves to spend time on a four-wheeler, so we brought him up to help drive around the food plot and get the ground worked up for the day. Well, we got the ground worked up, fertilizer down, we spread the seeds and smoothed it out with our homemade drag. And at the end of the day, looked like a brand new food plot. Now all we need is rain, get those seeds to grow, and we should have a beautiful food plot this fall to attract those big bucks.
Here we are, September 19th, 2023. We bought this property this spring. Did some work on it, planted some food plots, did some scouting, rented out the corn ground. And this is the first sit we're gonna do. We've been waiting for the right wind. We've got numerous pictures of different bucks. We've got a couple that if we see them tonight, they might get shot. Hopefully, maybe tonight's the night. Coming. We're kind of right in the middle of our property. We've got a good east wind coming right at us, kind of coming, blowing right in our face right now. We've had quite a few buck pictures right in this corner. It looks like they're all coming from the east. So we're thinking that this is a good spot for us to sit on our property. There's definitely a lot of acorns dropping when the wind comes through. I'm pretty sure that's why these deer are in this corner right now, because the ground's covered with acorns. Well, it's the second day of our hunt. A little warmer today than it was yesterday. We had a nice encounter last night with a buck that we've got on camera. We knew it had a busted tine, so it was a pretty nice buck, but we decided to give him a pass, and hopefully we'll see one of the bigger bucks that we've got on camera. A lot warmer today, but the wind is still the same, kind of the east, southeast, which is good for that same stand. So it's supposed to be warm the next couple of days, so as long as this wind stays right, we'll hunt tonight and maybe tomorrow and see what happens. And if nothing happens, we might have to just give it a rest until we get a front move through or some colder temperatures. But we'll see what happens.
The deer activity was a little slower. That same buck did show up right before dark, but we decided to let the property rest for a little bit and wait for a cold front to come through in October. Just getting settled in here. I'm sitting in a stump blind tonight. It's meant for bow hunting. It's got vertical windows. Pretty neat setup. And it's right on our big food plot. We finally got some rain, then it got warm, and that really made our food plot grow quickly. So the deer have been hitting it every night. Been does, fawns, bucks. You never know what's gonna show up. But we're finally getting our first cold front in October. So I wanted to get out and get close to this green plot. And this is our best stand. We've got a good wind blowing from the field back into the woods, but these stands really contain, you know, the scent. So that should be a good night. We'll see what comes out into the food plot, and should be exciting. You never know what buck is gonna show up on any given day. Well, October came and we were kind of waiting on some cold fronts to come through to get the bucks to move, to hit our food plots. And earlier in October, I did get to sit in our stump blind, and I did see a couple good bucks come out that evening. They fed on the far side of the food plot, but you know, just a good opportunity to observe deer movement. And that was kind of our goal this year, was to hunt and learn how the deer are moving throughout the property, how they're utilizing our food plots and the travel corridors. And with every sit, we're learning how to hunt the property a little bit more efficiently and effectively.
Well, we're back in stand this morning. Last couple days, rut activity's really picked up. They're definitely searching for does right now. They're definitely in the seeking phase right now, so hopefully that'll continue the rest of the day. Maybe we'll get that big boy that walked by us.
Well, we had a lot of good buck action throughout October. We had this one buck in particular, we kind of called him the goofy buck. He had an extra main beam kicker type of point coming off of his rack, and I don't know how many encounters we had with that one. But that was kind of the theme of October. There was almost a lull of big mature bucks, and we had a lot of the 1.5, 2.5-year-old bucks running around, definitely asserting their dominance, because I'm guessing the big bucks were just hanging out in a separate area, waiting for the rut to really kick in. You know, every hunt you go out is an enjoyable time, and I got to spend a lot of time in the tree with my dad, and it's been quite a while since we've got to deer hunt together consistently. So this fall was really about us coming together as a family and learning the property and just spending some quality time together in the outdoors. October came and went, and with November there's always that anticipation of what is the rut going to bring. One hot doe can change your hunt. This one morning was the morning where we finally had a hot doe come through the property, and there were bucks following her. Big 6. He's on the other side of the pines. There he is. Whoop. Well, Six-Pack walked through my 30-yard shooting lane, and I wasn't able to get him to stop, and then he followed that doe off. He's following that doe. Actually, he followed it off towards where my dad was sitting, so I was hoping that, it might give him a shot. Just had Big 6 come through. Sticking pretty close to that doe. He headed off to the east. 30 yards, just didn't have a shot. Here comes another buck. Not too long after that, another buck came through, and then another buck. Younger buck following the same trail. That doe is definitely coming into esters. On the trail. And then I had a couple of does and fawns filtering through on the opposite side of my tree, and it's at that point that I saw this buck come in, and he's following the same path that Six-Pack did, kind of trailing that hot doe. But the thing I had going in my favor this time was I had a live decoy up on the road behind me. He's on that same trail. It didn't take long. As soon as that big 9-pointer saw that deer, he committed and started coming my way. Rip. If you bow hunt in the Midwest, especially from tree stands, you've probably been in a situation where you need to stop an animal with a vocalization, or you've had a steep angled shot. And when they come close to a tree, and then you have to stop them with a vocalization because they're in your shooting lane, there's a good chance they're gonna look right up at you, and they're gonna be able to drop a little bit when you fire the arrow. And the best thing you can do if you spine them is to follow up with a quick shot, just to dispatch them, And the other thing is never aim off of the body of a deer. Even if the deer drops a little bit, your arrow should still hit within the vital zone. Oh my gosh, power of the rut. I mean, it's warmer than it should be in November. It's been really slow as far as deer activity, especially upper end bucks. One hot doe this morning. Oh, just brought 2 of our top bucks by. Wow. Just goes to show you, you just gotta be out. I mean, even if it's warmer, it just takes one hot doe to completely change your day, week, month. Whew, awesome. He's down right there. Give him a little bit and we'll climb down and go check him out. All right. Well, no tracking to do. Laying right there 20 yards away. Let's go check them out. Yeah, pretty close shot. 10 yards. Hit him a little high, but followed up real quick and dispatched him. Laying right here. All right. How about that? Nice buck. Man, what a morning. To see the old 6-pack come through and then a couple other bucks following that hot doe. That's what you wait for. Month of November, you get one hot doe coming in and you never know what's gonna be following. Your luck can change real quick. Really happy with this first deer on our property. Thanks, Mom and Dad. A lot of memories. We're gonna have a lot of memories on the property, and this is one that I'll definitely never forget.